My name is Dillon and I'm bored. I never imagined my life as an executive administrator to be a whirlwind of excitement, but this is getting out of hand. I can handle not having the most glamorous job in the world, but to come home and be even more bored than I am at the office is starting to get to me. At home waiting for me every day is my longtime girlfriend, Veronica. A very beautiful and once interesting woman. However, every day has become the same grind. I come home and attempt to kiss her hello. She then coldly turns her cheek towards me and tells me that dinner will be ready in 10 minutes. Dinner is eaten in front of the TV, after which I do the dishes and she goes to the country club. I think the whole time we say not more than 20 words to each other. I've tried changing things up, by offering to cook, or going out or suggesting fun things to do together. Every once in a while she bites, but mostly I get the cold shoulder. I'm not a country club person and neither was Veronica when we met. Through the years this has changed. Our jobs and incomes got bigger. Big enough, to receive an invitation to a private club. I go every once in a while to play squash or use the fitness facilities. Veronica on the other hand has embraced the country club lifestyle. The outfits, functions and gossip. Lots of it. Who does what to whom and where. She used to tell me every detail. After a row one day, wherein I made clear, I was not interested in all that noise, she's gone quiet about the whole thing. While she's at the club I do some work, watch TV, and most days I can't find whatever my caveman brain is looking for. I used to hide my online activity but now, it's gotten to the point that I stopped clearing my browser history. In fact, I hope she finds it. It might spark something in her. I've tried everything else. When I try to talk to her about it, I give a brush off, like, I'm tired. I'm starting to give up. But not easily swayed I decide to give it one more big try. A plan for Friday night. The morning starts like any other. I get up at 5 to go to work, leaving Veronica asleep. On my way back from work I reserve an extravagant hotel room. With a romantic view and large jacuzzi bath, I also buy some flowers and her favorite chocolates. My plan is to pick her up from the club and whisk her off, for an evening getaway. On coming home I sneak into her car and put the chocolates in her glove box. Giving her the flowers, she replies that they're nice but it's so wasteful because they'll just wilt and die. Strike one, swing and a miss. During dinner there is a conversation, but it centers around the flowers and about how she and her friends formed a committee to have the club stop buying flowers and start using plants as decoration. This all to help the environment. My response, that the club should turn the golf course into a park to help the environment, does not go over well. After dinner and in a bit of a huff, she leaves. 5 minutes later, I text her to look in the glove box. I get a response saying that she'll just have to exercise more to burn of the fat. Strike two, another swing and a miss. My resolve is waning but not gone, so an hour later I get in my car and head to the club. Veronica usually does not spend more than an hour on the tennis court. When I arrive I ask the concierge where I might find Veronica, but he tells me he has not seen her. Not wanting to spoil the surprise I send a text asking how her tennis game was and if she's at a table with her friends. I get a response back that the game was fine and she's having an iced tea. On my way to the bar, I run into one of her friends, who in passing says, "Dillon, long time, you and Veronica should come to the club more often, we miss you guys." This stops me in my tracks. I try to respond, but by the time my brain has processed this information, she has turned the corner. I head to my car and my mind immediately goes to an affair. It fits, the disinterest in me, every night going out and lying about where. Using a lie about being drunk and forgetting where I parked my car, I find out from the car track company where it is. It's on a street I know, but not wanting to draw any more conclusions I just drive there. I park at the end of the street and walk up. My suspicions are realized when I find her car. It's parked in front of the house of one of our mutual friends. Brad and Mary Van Hoyten. He's a bigwig lawyer and she's a socialite country clubber. Mary's probably at the club right now. I move towards the house and decide to go around back. The backyard is lit up. Hiding behind one of the bushes I see two people in the hot tub, Brad and Veronica. It looks like whatever amorous activity they were up to is done. Strike 3, you're out. Something turns in me. I should be hopping mad, I should go over there and kick his ass and yell at her, but I simply don't care. I stand there realizing that it doesn't hurt me to see this. It actually feels liberating. I had been starting to doubt myself and my ability. I snap a picture of the scene, so that when I confront her I don't get 5 rounds of denial before the truth comes out. I then turn around and leave. Relieved and with a newfound energy I walk to my car. When I get in I decide not to go home but to the hotel. After checking in, I briefly consider either going to the bar and trying my luck or perhaps try to find an escort service. Neither feels right, so I run the bath and watch a basketball game from the tub. When I'm dried off and lying in bed, I get a little antsy. When I come home the next day, there is barely any surprise. I tell Veronica that I was working late, after which we had some drinks and so I stayed over at a motel. If she can lie, then so can I. This explanation is accepted without any question. So, what are you gonna do? In his backyard, my best friend Jerry is flipping burgers and knocking back a beer. Our standing Saturday, meat, beer and sports afternoon is in full swing. I dunno. Ditch the bad girl. Come live the single life with me. Thought about that, obviously, but it feels incomplete somehow, not sure how to describe it. You need some revenge, my friend. Yeah. That's it. Veronica is not but I correct myself. I share a look with Jerry. I get it, man, you've been together since college, but she's been cheating for how long? No clue, but a while now, I guess. And during this time did you guys ever, Not often and never very well. This kills the conversation. And we go back to the beer, meat and sports. At the end of the evening Jerry tells me, mi casa et su cas, dude. If you ever need a place to crash. Thanks. When I arrive back home I find a note from Veronica telling me she's at the club. Right, sure you are. Just then my phone chimes in with a message. It's from Jerry. He sent me a link. I go to my computer and open it up. It's a dating site for people who are already in a relationship. A second message from Jerry reads that he scored some nice trim on this site. To my observation that he's single and this website is for people who are not, he simply replies, so. Curious, I create an account. And after paying a fee, I start to browse the available profiles. At first I'm a little disappointed because all of the photos taken from the neck down. It dawns on me, however, that due to the nature of the site this does make sense. I find some profiles that pique my interest. So after I upload a picture of myself and fill in some details, I start reading more in depth into the profiles that took my fancy. The site offers the sending of a wink to someone. This seems harmless enough, so I pick 3 ladies and wink away. After having done this I noticed that all 3 ladies have one thing in common. While reflecting on this, a small sound alert tells me I've been winked back. A lady named Boardwife 329. The photo in her profile is of a wonderfully curvaceous woman. She's wearing a body-hugging blue dress, which comes down to just over her knees. Married for 11 years and no kids. The only other physical descriptor are her brown eyes. Her profile description is quite short and tells me that her husband barely pays her any attention and she's seeking a man to spend some time with. Even though this is not much to go on, I'm interested enough to find out more. I open up a chat window. Hi there. How are you? A minute goes by, 2, 5 and just when I'm about to give up. Hi. A bit bored, but otherwise fine. You. Bored, but fine, I'll share that sentiment. What brings you to this site? Wanting to keep some anonymity I don't reveal the whole truth. A relationship that has lost every spark. Even after trying multiple times to reignite it, she barely notices me anymore. Wife. Not married, but been together for 14 years now. Sounds similar to my predicament. Hey, I'd love to talk some more, but I have to sign off now. Speak to you soon. I'd like that. Have a nice day. Thank you, you too. With a small chime the chat window closes. Feeling that my first outing in the online dating world resulted in a conversation. Short, but a conversation nonetheless, I call it a success and plan on logging back on later. I keep checking the site the rest of the day and the following Sunday, but not until late in the evening does the blue dress reappear. She sends me a message apologizing for still being unable to have a longer conversation with me. We make an appointment for the next evening. The workday crawls by at a snail's pace, and to top it off, Veronica takes her time to the club. The whole day, all I can see is that girl in the blue dress. When finally, I'm alone, I rush to my computer and log on. She's there waiting for me. In the conversation that follows we talk about our lives and our significant others. She tells me that her husband almost never wants to have with her anymore. I reply by saying I didn't know men like that existed. This is funny to her. I elaborate how I found out about Veronica's indiscretion and tell her I don't have a good reason why I haven't left yet. She tells me that she does not suspect her husband of having an affair, to which I reply that I didn't suspect Veronica either. We end the conversation with the promise of chatting again the next evening and then talking about what we might want from each other. I end my day the same as I did yesterday, and imagining and hoping she's doing the same. When Veronica slides into bed next to me, I tell myself to have a little fun with the situation. How are things at the club? Fine. I might go with you tomorrow. See if I can beat Brad at a squash game. Oh, this is almost too much fun. Brad won't be there. He and Mary are in the vineyards. Funny, I think I saw Mary on my way home today. Must have been someone else, then. Must have been. Good night. Good night. Once more the workday was cruelly slow. The upside, however, was a note from Veronica giving a club-related reason for her absence. If she was still trying to keep her affair a secret, she wasn't doing a very good job of it. Both her tennis and golf gear were still in the garage. For her, the consequence of getting caught are minor. She has her own money and we share no debt. But through the grapevine I once heard that Mr. Van Hoyten did not make his wife sign a prenup. The photo I have on my phone could be very expensive for him. After turning on my computer I give neither of them any more thought. What I am thinking about and had thought about all day was how to best formulate what I wanted from Boardwife 329. I knew, but would it scare her off to just come out and say it? With the familiar ping the chat window opened and the usual greetings were exchanged, after which the conversation remained quiet for a bit. Both of us nervous, or at least I am. So, I started. What we want, she finished. I decided to take the lead. I'll be very honest, I'm not looking for a boyfriend/girlfriend thing, but I'm also not out for some revenge because of my situation with she who shall not be named. What I would like, and what I've missed for so long, is a romantic evening with a woman. I hit enter after typing the message and hold my breath. I want to see your face. Oak, not a direct no. But not the response I was hoping for. Meeting just a face does seem strange. I can't believe I'm typing this, but, let me take a selfie. Would it be rude of me to ask you for the same? No. Would you? Before I can hit enter. Working on it. I run to the bathroom to check if I wasn't too big a mess and snap a picture. I upload it to the site, which has a feature for sharing photos in private. I then share my selfie with her. One selfie. The site is quiet for a while. Finally I get a message that a picture was shared with me. I open it up and am greeted by a pair of light brown eyes and a disarming and beautiful smile. You're cute. Thank you, you are quite stunning. I get a blushing smiley face in return. I would very much like to meet you. I would like that as well. How about we meet in Zapruder Park? We can go for a stroll and see if we like each other in 3D. Sounds good to me. How about Friday at 1700 hours, can you make that? I'd have to get out of work early, but for this, I'd quit if need be. I can. After that the conversation went on about the day's events and a discussion on what was going on in Syria. She is very intelligent and well-read, which makes having a conversation easy and effortless. It was all very enjoyable, we even sent each other a new selfie while making a funny face. Just before we signed off I got a little bold. I hope I'm not too forward but there is a hotel next to the park. This was the same hotel I was in 3 nights ago. But, nothing. What felt like 10 minutes of nothing. My mind was racing. Then even worse, she signs off. My heart sinks into my shoes. Just before I throw my computer across the room in frustration, I'm stopped by the site's message chime. Someone has shared a photo with me. I click and there she is. A wicked little smile on her face and winking at me. I immediately reserve the very same room in the hotel. So 1 week after I failed to rekindle the flame with Veronica and found out about her affair, I would be back in the same place with a new woman. Whom I just realize, is nameless to me. I had used Dillon in my screen name, she is still Ms. Boardwife 329. The next night I compliment her on her extremely funny, winky face prank, which she also finds ever so amusing. I apologize for not asking her name before now. Sandra. And you're Dillon, I'm assuming. Yes I am. Nice to meet you. You as well. I hear Veronica's car pulling in the driveway. Much earlier than expected. I have to go. I'll be online tomorrow. I can't tomorrow. Other plans. Then we'll see each other Friday. Looking forward to it. Me too. Just before Veronica enters the bedroom I'm signed off. Doing work in bed, yep. Did they burn down the country club? Huh. You're home early. Oh. Haha, very funny. Then something odd happens. She gets into bed, snuggles up to me and in a sultry voice asks how my day was. My mind goes to the worst possible explanation for this. Mr. Brad wasn't available tonight, so I'll have to do. I think not. My day was long and trying. I've got a skull-splitting headache and am tired. That, or a form of that, have been my marching orders for the last 2 years. Clearly recognizing her own line, she wishes me a good night and starts reading a book. The next evening I tell Veronica that I'll be working late again, same as last Friday, and that I'll stay in a hotel. For a second, I think I see a glint of excitement in her eyes. I wonder what that means. It could be her thinking that she might be able to spend a night with Brad. It could also be nothing. I haven't seen excitement in her eyes for so long I probably wouldn't be able to recognize it anymore. In either event I'm ambivalent towards the whole thing. I hope she has fun, I honestly do. When she's left the driveway I grab a backpack and start packing for tomorrow. The usual stuff. When I'm done I stare at the pack wondering if I've got everything. With a chuckle I realize I don't. I get into the car and drive to town. As they all had been the last few days, this day at work was once again agonizingly slow. Ducking out at 1600 hours I got in my car. Traffic is mercifully light, so I arrive at the park a half an hour early. As I park the car my heart starts racing, because it looks like I'm not the only one who has arrived before our agreed upon time. On a bench in the park with her back to the parking lot sits a woman of familiar body type and hair color in a blue dress. Not a religious man, I plead with any and every god I know to let that be her. Even from a distance she looks amazing. I pop a mint and exit the car. To the left of me looming large over the park is the hotel, in front of me my prize. I walk towards the bench. The closer I get the more familiar the dress looks. I had been studying it for a while now. The gravel on the road makes a stealthy approach impossible, and just before I'm next to her the woman turns. Sandra greets me with a warm and welcoming smile. We exchange highs. As she stands I walk up to her. Facing, smiling, we look into each other's eyes. Standing a few inches shorter than me, I could kiss her forehead by bending forward only slightly. She's as beautiful as I'd hoped she'd be. I break the silence by saying this. She thanks me and we move in closer for a hug. She whispers, "It's nice to meet you." "It's nice to meet you too." She's beaming and I'm sure I'm doing the same. We take a step to our side and walk into the park. Not much is said. We talk about being early to avoid traffic and the usual "how was your day" nonsense. I put my hands in my pockets and make a bow with my arm. She takes it and casually we stroll on. Every minute or so I look down at the beauty in her blue dress, as she looks up at me. We share a smile and she leans her head into my shoulder. We stop at a bridge across a little river. The foliage hangs low so that even if the park wasn't nearly deserted, no one would see us. We both stare down at the water for a second and then turn toward each other. Looking into her eyes we inch closer. A second later our lips touch. Our kiss lasts. When we break, Sandra's eyes stay closed for a few seconds and I read ecstasy on her face. When they open it is accompanied by a smile. She starts humming the Shoop Shoop song. Oh ho oh. It's in his kiss, that's where it is. Funny lady. I want more. I lean down but she says no. I want more of you. The park is nice but. There is no need to finish that sentence. Arms locked we head over to the parking lot. We get our bags and head into the hotel. The lady at the desk tells us about the restaurant and breakfast and then wishes us a pleasant stay. To be honest, I only heard every other word. The lift takes us to the top floor. Once there, only 3 doors of which 1003 is ours. Once inside Sandra looks around. She starts in the bathroom with the huge tub and shower. I open the curtains and stare outside while she does her little tour. She finishes by wrapping her arms around me from behind. This is a very nice room. I turn to meet her. Glad you like it. I've had dreams about you in this dress. You are stunning. I've only worn it once, to take the picture. I wanted to save it for this occasion. We kiss again. Can you guess what happens next? I just come right out and ask, "Are you staying the night?" She turns around with a confused look on her face. Of course I am. What makes you think I would want to leave? Relief sets in and it must have shown on my face because her expression changes to a smile. I wasn't sure what your plans were. Well, the most immediate plan is food, because I'm starving. After that I want to spend the rest of the night like this. That sounds like perfection to me. Taking her hand we head down to the restaurant. We interact like lovers would in public. Holding hands, smiling at every eye contact and when we think no one is watching, stealing a kiss. We wolf down our meals, all the while making jokes about how much we exercised and so rightly deserve them. We'll need lots of protein. With dinner over, we head back to our room. Waking, I am greeted by the light of the morning sun shining on the far wall. Good morning. Yes it is. Sleep well? Yes. Next weekend is Easter, which would be a nice chunk of free time, would it not already be filled with family obligations on both our sides? So we have to wait 2 long agonizing weeks before we meet again. Sandra says she'll pick the place and all I have to do is, show up. Leaning against her car, we make out a little in the parking lot. One final kiss and a promise to text later, she drives off. I head to Jerry for beer, meat and sports, a much happier man than last week.